Hello, I'm Angela Sidness, holistic health coach at wildcraftedway.com and creator of the 12-step system to end dieting permanently. Grow inspired. Today, we're going to talk about what I call honoring hunger and fullness. We will talk about why it's important, how to practice it in between our sessions. So, we talked about what to eat for your unique body, which foods give you energy, and which foods take away. But if you want to get big results, then what you eat is only part of the big picture. We also have to look at how we eat. Who are you being when you eat? Do you eat when you're not actually hungry because it's noon and you're mentally programmed that now it's time to eat? Do you eat too little or too much? By the end of today's presentation, you'll have a deeper understanding of this. So the place we're going to start is what I call honoring hunger. How do we honor hunger? Honoring hunger is about recognizing what happens internally before you get hungry. Instead of waiting until you're so hungry you could eat a horse, you tune in to this internal signal that the body needs nourishment. I teach my clients to tune into this mechanism, this natural feedback loop. It's kind of like the gas tank on your car. There's a buffer zone when you get in the red. When the gas light first appears, depending on your car, you may have 20 to 30 miles to go before you actually run out of gas and come to a halt. We don't want to wait until we run out of gas to eat. Why? Because that's when the crazy unleashes. Notice what happens when you are super hungry. Do your eyes glaze over and slump in your chair, unable to do anything? Do you become an unreasonable bitch? Who do you take it out on? Do you end up eating things that you wouldn't normally choose to eat simply because it's within reach and you feel desperate? If you let yourself get too hungry, it's almost impossible to think clearly. The need to feel physically full becomes so irresistible, you'll eat almost anything. 5 pieces of toast, a candy bar, a whole pint of ice cream, cocoa powder with a spoon, tomato sauce, and breadsticks. And even after all that, you may still feel unsatisfied because it wasn't a real meal. The body's appetite mechanism is still searching for the meal, and it won't shut down until you've had what feels like a meal. So the first step is to recognize the hunger. What lets you know you will soon be hungry? What are the signs? Now let's say I had to replace you for a day and feed myself. How would you teach me to get hungry at the right time? What would I see, hear, or feel to cue me to get hungry? Now, we're going to create your own hunger scale from 1 to 10. 2 is when the gaslight would come on. It's the indicator that it's time to plan for nourishment. 10 would be psycho bitch hungry. We don't want to let it get past a 5, or there's a good chance you'll be setting yourself up for a binge. Start to plan for food when you're at a 1 to 2. Makes sense? Great. Now, let's talk about honoring fullness. We can also create a fullness scale from 1 to 10. 10 is so stuffed that you need to unbutton your pants to breathe. What we're looking for is a 7 on the fullness scale. 7 is when you're nourished and energized from food, satiated, not stuffed. Let's talk about action steps for this presentation. Your action step is to practice recognizing when you're at a 7 on the fullness scale. Now, intellectually, the hunger and fullness scale makes sense. Start planning to eat when you're at a level 2 on the hunger scale and stop eating when you're at a level 7. Seems simple enough. Here's the problem. Most of us have habits of eating beyond fullness. Like when you go out for Chinese food and there's so much food, it's just sitting there in front of you and it tastes so good and you pick off one more piece from the serving dish. Then you are engaged in conversation and you mindlessly pick another piece. Before you know it, your belly hurts and you're wishing you didn't overeat. Does that sound familiar? So let's talk about creating some new habits around honoring hunger and fullness, especially fullness, because that's really where people get tripped up. Here are 6 ways you can practice new habits this week that honor your inner intuitive hunger and fullness scale. Number 1, Start planning what and when to eat when you're at a level 2 on the Hunger Fullness scale. Number 2, eat high energy foods that your body wants. Number 3, eat for energy. Aim for a level 7 on your inner intuitive scale versus a level 10 when you're so full you have to unzip your pants. Number 4, make a physical gesture that your meal is complete by pushing your plate away, pushing a napkin over it, or crossing your silverware. Number 5, declare out loud to yourself or whomever you are eating with that you are full. This will dissuade you from continuing to eat because you're already announced that the meal was complete for you. And number 6, if you're out, ask your server to box up the rest of the meal so it is not calling you hither. I would love to hear your ahas and insights from today's presentation. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and share your ahas and insights over on my Facebook page. So in review, if you want to build healthy habits around food, what you eat is only part of the big picture. We also have to look at how we eat. Who are you being when you eat? Do you eat when you're not actually hungry? Do you eat too little or too much? How do we honor hunger? So tune in to your internal signal that the body needs nourishment. Recognize the hunger. Learn the signs. Create a intuitive inner scale from 1 to 10. 1 is just noticing hunger. 10 is starving. Start to plan for food when you're at a 2. And how do we honor fullness? Create a fullness scale from 1 to 10. 10 is stuffed, 1 is starving. So aim for a level 7 on the fullness scale. Nourished and energized, satiated, not stuffed. Again, eat high energy foods that your body wants. Make a physical gesture that your meal is complete. And declare out loud. And don't forget to box up any extra servings. So thank you again. I'm Angela Sidness, Holistic Health Coach at wildcraftedway.com. Head on over there, check out my blog for other helpful articles about living healthy. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.